I don't think that we're live. I'm checking it on my
Nancy just
my
stuck her
desktop.
head
I'm
in
looking
and
into
I just clicked, so give me
It
a minute.
says we are now.
Here it comes.
Okay.
So you might want to repeat.
Okay, so the monthly expenditures are only 63%, and when 83% of the year is done, salaries are at 65%, and our revenue is 101%. No real activity in the grants in the construction fund. Our CARES Act money, we're spending quite a bit of that. We're up to 78,000 spent out of the 100,000, and I have no doubt that we'll be able to spend it before the end of the year. We're ordering 8 water bottle refill stations that are 8,000 apiece. And we're also looking at, if you remember, before we got this large screen here, we had a large computer monitor on a movable stand that had a computer connected to it. And we're looking at putting one of those in at Coventry and Noble, and then in Meeting Room A, because right now all of our new technology is in Brody Nelson, which is the closest room to the book drop, and that's our quarantine room. So the expenditures for the Dewey card will be improving communication and facilitating learning with the public, and then the water bottles will qualify under safety and security for the public, because it'll be a touchless water bottle refill station. Do I have a motion to approve the financial and investment reports for the month of October?
I'll make it.
Second?
I'll second.
I'll give it to Dana, next one, Gabe. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the next item is to approve the 2021 permanent appropriation. This is a month earlier than usual, but just because of the times and, you know, wanting to get ahead of the game and being ready to close year end, we're looking to get that approved tonight. And the budget for general fund we're proposing for next year is $10,236 when the current budget is $11,245. So we're still, I'm sorry, 10,527,000, and we're still looking at cutting another $250,000 off of it to just be a little more cautious and see where things go. And then the other funds, it's just typical in anticipation of grants coming in. The Washington Boulevard, we're getting $10,000 a month from the tenants for the utilities. And building repair and technology, we're not looking at giving them any money this year. They got sizable transfers last year, so the money that's in the building and repair and technology will suit them. They have more cash than what we're budgeting, so it's there. Any questions about the budget? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes.
Ms. Crenshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mr. Gerbach?
Yes.
Ms. Iwamoto?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Toracchio?
Yes.
The next item is approval of the materials evaluation and selection policy. Ms. Levin, would you like to give them a primer on that one? What changed?
The material evaluation and selection policy basically covers all of the items that we purchase for the public to be circulated by the library. And it explains how we weed our collection, how we choose the items, and there are criteria for each of those sections. And then it also provides a form that people can use to challenge an item if they don't think we should have it on the collection. And that if we ever receive one, that goes to the board and they get to discuss it. We usually prepare a defense for why it was in our collection. And I've never received a complaint about something that isn't in our collection, although I guess they could do that. And so these are all the policies. It's very straightforward. And when we updated it this year, it was all grammar. There were very few corrections that were of any material worth. But we do ask that the board reread it every year just so you're familiar with them in case we do get a challenge.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Good. The next item we have is to hire a contractor for the cleaning of the wood paneling, and this will be paid out of the building and repair fund. As you're all aware, in the atrium of the library, there's wood panels along the wall of the atrium and also the banister. And our company, Ajax Cleaning, has used this Stuart Dean company as a sub for other things and has recommended them. And they will be going in and removing old coatings on the wood, sanding things, and then staining and sealing them sometime over the next couple of probably months. I don't know if it'll be done by January, but we will let them know tomorrow if it's approved. So that's something that has not been done, Nancy, probably since we opened up the building.
It's never been done since they were installed in 2006. But one of the cleaning companies we've had over the years did apply something to the panels that makes them look like they are attracting dust and holding on to some sort of greasy residue. So that was another reason why we had to hire these people to clean them up, because somebody treated them with something they shouldn't have. And we were given instructions on how to treat them and clean them, and someone did not pay attention to those instructions way back when. So now we're here trying to make it look nice again. Build back better.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes.
Ms. Crenshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mr. Gerbach?
Yes.
Ms. Iwamoto?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Toracchio? The
Yes.
next item is an approval of an after-the-fact invoice. Under state law, as you're aware, we have to have purchase orders for anything that we purchase as a supplier or service. And if someone forgets to do a purchase order before something's ordered and it's under $3,000, I have statutory authority to approve it. But if it's over $3,000, it needs to have approval by the governing board. And as you recall, back in July, we approved hiring Gardner to do an ionization system for our HVA system at Lee Road and UH. And I think the situation was, I thought somebody else was doing it. They thought I was going to do it. And unfortunately, the invoice came and I didn't have a purchase order. So technically, I need board approval to pay this invoice. Just a slip up and communication mix up. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll give it to Jim and then Max. Ms. Carlisle?
Yes.
Ms. Crenshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mr. Gerbach?
Yes.
Ms. Iwamoto?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Toracchio?
Yes.
Nancy, you want to review the personnel report?
Okay. This comes from Lori, and she is trusting me to present her personnel report. I'm just going to bring you back. We wanted you to understand that we are holding many positions open while we are not operating at full capacity. And if you read down to the job vacancy portion of her report, it explains, it shows you all those holds, and we are examining them one at a time to decide when we're going to start filling positions. We just hired internally for a couple of them in our circulation department. And we are also hiring internally, no, we aren't hiring internally for positions open in the HKIC for the tech trainers and the tech assistants. And we're taking each one at a time as we decide what we're going to do. And if you look, it's kind of amazing that we can function without all these jobs, but we aren't doing very much programming. And that is primarily the work of the associates. And we haven't been that busy in the HKIC, so that they have not been doing in-person classes. So that has allowed us to function without all these people. We are working on a number of policies right now that we'll bring to you at the committee meeting in December that are COVID related, and we will be asking you to approve them so that we can be prepared to face the end of the year. A lot of the federal policies are going to expire, and we have to have something available for some of our staff who have children at home and they don't have another option for childcare. So they've asked us for leave of absences, and we are preparing those right now. And we're following in the basic format of the Federal Leave Act, but we're just repeating it for after December 31st. And then we're going to have an emergency closing policy that will explain what will happen if we have to close down. And those details are not completely worked out, but basically we would close for 2 weeks. And then we would have to, by then, make a decision for how we will pay the staff going forward. But at least it buys us the 2 weeks of time with calamity pay and using sick and ETO. So that way we won't be so caught off guard like we were the first time when we didn't anticipate being shut down for 4 months.
Nancy, may I add one thing in?
Sure.
You told the board that we did just do a couple of internal hires for our circulation department. And I wanted to let the board know and the public know that part of that is because we anticipate bringing back passport service as soon as possible. So Ty has the circulation staff members going through, they had to do sort of I guess a recertification is the correct word, because we had paused the service for so long. So they all needed to go back through it. Some staff members have already completed the modules and others are in the middle of it. But as soon as we get everybody back up to full speed, we will offer passport service again. We don't know what the traffic is going to be because of course we can't really go anywhere, but we imagine there'll be people who have expiring passports that need to get them renewed. So we will be able to provide that function. And that was one of the reasons to hire to fill a couple of the circulation vacancies. So thank you for letting me add that.
That's okay. The other half of the report lists all of the people who were awarded longevity pins, which we normally do at staff day in October. And if you look and see the great length of time that some of our staff have been with us, Chuck's been here 35 years. We have 2 people at 20, 5 or 6 at 15, another 3 at 10, and a whole bunch at 5. And I think that is a tribute to the managers and to all of you who create policies that make it possible for us to keep staff a long time. And it's just really nice to see all those people. And in the report, there's a picture of some of the people getting their pins. And then finally, we're going to ask for our wage increase. If you don't mind me moving ahead. We did not grant raises in 2020 because of the pandemic. We were out of work for so long and had calamity leave, so we didn't feel that was appropriate. But we would like to request a 1.5% raise for 2020 and a 1.5% raise for 2021. which we would like to grant as of the first payroll in 2021 and 2021. So that would be a 3% increase at that time. I think the official date would be the date checks dated January 15th. The amount altogether would be about $150,000, and there are very few staff now who are at the top of their range. So instead of getting a 3% raise, they would get a bonus if their raise takes them over their salary range. We would make up the difference with a bonus. I think that explains it. Do you have any questions about that?
Just a quick question for clarification. So if it's a 1.5% raise for 2020, are we doing like retro for hours worked in 2020, or are we just doing a 3% on 2021?
We're doing a 3%, just because it's very complicated. We're
Sure.
going to do a 3% as of the first payroll in 2021.
Understood. Thank you.
And since we aren't really hiring new people, that is all people who've worked last year.
Right.
Good question. Good question.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Okay?
Second.
Got that, Debbie?
Yep.
Okay. Did
You
we have
are
a
correct.
second?
Any other questions? Ms. Carlisle,
Yes.
Ms. Crenshaw,
Yes.
Ms. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mr. Gerbach,
Yes.
Ms. Iwamoto,
Yes.
Mr. Rusa,
Yes.
Mr. Toracchio.
Yes.
Nancy, you want to talk about our RFQ?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much. I know it means a lot to the staff. They've been, as we all have been, very stressed this year, and they are continuing to try to serve the public in the best way possible. So I know they will appreciate that. Okay. So we have been talking about improving the HVAC system at Coventry Branch for over a year now, and we had created a whole master plan, but now we're going back and just pulling out the most important projects out of that master plan. And we believe that the Coventry HVAC is the #1 project that we need to take care of, especially in COVID. But it is complicated. So we are going to have to hire an engineer to design the HVAC. And then we're going to have to go back out and hire an architect in a design build project to design and build the system in the walls that exist at the 1926 building at Coventry. So we're going to have lots of experts in on this. And this RFQ is just for the engineer to design the system, because we have numbers of different kinds of systems in the building now, and we'd like to get it all upgraded into one so that we can use modern technology like ionization and filters that will keep the air clean.
Do we have a general idea of the project cost overall?
Yes, it's in the legal notice, between $450,000 and $500,000.
Okay.
And we have money set aside in the building repair fund to cover that.
That's all in, including the engineers, architects, and the actual
Yeah,
work.
that's the total project cost.
Yeah. Thank you.
The attic in that building is wide open, but the walls certainly are not. And so we'll have to figure all of that out. There is no forced air heating. So there's no place to push air, and it's gonna be a tricky one. Can't wait.
Good times.
I've done air conditioning in 3 old houses, and this is not gonna even be close to that. It's gonna be harder.
Right.
But when we're done, it will be very nice. And we have committed to improving that building, and we continue to improve it. This year we waterproofed it, and this will sort of take care of this will be the last big, huge project, we hope.
The legal advertisement will run in the Plain Dealer this Friday and the next 2 Fridays. And then we're even going into the Sun paper on a Thursday. And as part of the whole request for qualifications, is we state that we'd like to be done with the whole project by the end of April. So it's moving along.
And then
Nancy, is this one of the projects we talked about when we toured that building last year and we were looking at the
Yeah,
waterproofing?
because
Was this?
the basement doesn't have very good heat
Yeah.
here and all
It
that.
has a boiler. I don't know if you remember seeing it, but it's quite the thing.
Mhm.
So just for your sake also as the board, I think Annette already offered to be one of the people to interview the engineers. We need 3 people to do that, and I believe the dates are already chosen. Debbie, is that true? Yes.
Yes, after the meeting, I'll send out it's like a 10-page request for qualifications. And we have dates where we'll look at all the submissions from the architects, we'll shortlist it, and then have meetings with like the top 3 candidates. So depending upon, we worked on these dates with Nancy and I and our architectural consultant. If you've got some availability, I'll send that out to you tomorrow morning and you can get back to us if anyone wants to
That's
participate.
Julie Cushon.
Right, she was at our meeting, I think in February before the shutdown, talking about our master plan.
Okay.
Anybody else have any other questions or comments? A motion to approve,
A motion.
second,
I'll second.
Ms. Carlisle,
Yes.
Ms. Crenshaw,
Yes.
Ms. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mr. Gerbach,
Yes.
Ms. Iwamoto,
Yes.
Mr. Russo,
Yes.
Mr. Toracchio.
Yes.
Nancy, do you have a report from the Friends on anything?
The Friends held their bag sale last Friday, and I know that has been very popular. I did see a couple of people walking out with a number of bags. So definitely the word is out, and we just made our request to the Friends for money for 2021, and it is about half of what we usually request because we are going on whatever the last year's profits were, so they were way down due to the pandemic, but we're going to make good use of our Friends money. Most of it goes for programming.
Mr. Russo, do you have anything you'd like to report?
Nothing we haven't talked about already tonight.
Okay, we'll go into the director's report, Ms. Levin.
We did receive 13 applications for trustees, and they will be interviewed on the first Tuesday of December by the Board of Education via Zoom. And we are just getting that set up. I know a number of people asked to be at different times, so it's a little bit complicated doing it by Zoom, but we'll get that going. And of course, we're just amazed every year when we get so many applications. It's really a compliment to the library that so many people are interested, and the 7 years doesn't chase them away as it didn't with you. So we did have an information night meeting with them, and they were all very nice. It's hard to tell from that night. We also continue to respond to the pandemic, and you can read about that. We have had dementia-friendly training for the staff, and we are also offering it for the public on November 23rd at 10 a.m. by Zoom, and the link is in the board report. We are continuing our work, anti-racism work, and I know that we just put out another call for people to participate in focus groups. I was, I don't know if I think Patty, maybe you were, I was on the Heights Community Congress Conversation Series this Sunday. There were over 115 people from the community who participated in conversations about race. So it's clearly on people's minds. And I was in a very interesting small group. It was just fascinating how different people's opinions are about things. And I learned a lot from just listening to what others had to say. And I think these conversations can turn into a very powerful force for good. The police chief was in my group and a couple of other citizens, and we had a great discussion. So we're going to recruit the same people to see if they want to participate in a focus group and tell us about the library. The carpet has arrived. They were working on it today over on the HKIC side. So their carpet is going to be blue and ours is going to be brown on this side. I'm sure the public will start to see the changes and the disruption, and we apologize ahead of time. Co-learning spaces have opened in the teen room at Lee Road, thanks to Sarah Rosenberger, who is our interim manager in the youth services department. People can be in there for 45 minutes a day, just like with the computers. And it's an opportunity for students to work together with a parent or a sibling, because we don't really offer that in any other space in the library. We still are not making our meeting rooms accessible because of the pandemic. And certainly with the numbers the way they've been, we're going to wait until things really get much better before we would allow that. And I did hear from the AARP that they're not sure what they're going to be doing with the tax help this year. They're going to try to offer something by Zoom, and people will have to come to the library and scan their documents on the AARP scanner, which has a secure line, and then make a Zoom meeting with the helper, and that's going to be very complicated. So stay tuned for that. And then we do have a mobile pantry on Monday. So if you know of anyone who would make themselves, avail themselves of that service, please tell them that we will have food on Monday. And we've been serving about 300 families on the fourth Monday of each month, and we plan to continue that. Cheryl shared her communication report with us. Check us out. You should have received in your mailbox this week. And it's much thinner than it usually is, but you understand why. And she helped distribute over 1,000 books to the family food distribution at the middle school, and is working on our coverage on all of our wonderful activities, and also sent out a survey to families asking them how the library could do better in serving them during the pandemic. I have not seen the results yet, but I'm sure they will be very interesting. We also did a survey internally asking how the staff felt about their safety and security during the pandemic. So we just got those results on Friday, and we talked about them today, and we'll be working on those. The government report was very good. 94% of all the library levies passed. Unfortunately, our friends in Portage County did not, and I feel like we should all go over there and help them. Maybe we'll do canvassing in Portage County next year, but it really is great to see the libraries in Ohio supported. And that is it for me. Tammy, you want to?
Okay, I'll go ahead and jump into the public service report, and I'll be brief. I know we have a lot to talk about in executive session. In the packet, you'll see the highlights from the public service report. I want to point out a couple things. Number one, Ty reported on some statistics specifically from Lee Road, and I just wanted to keep that in the forefront of everyone's mind. I know it can be confusing. He's telling us about some things, particularly about the sorter and the increase in traffic. That's the Lee Road circulation specific. And then when I go into my stats, I'll talk about the system as a whole. We have information from things that the continuing education department is doing in the HKIC. Like Nancy said, they can't do classes as they used to do, but they are taking some of their information and training both to Facebook and also one-on-one phone tech appointments as well. Continuing on, other highlights to share are in there. The Noble Library staff has helped out with the Diversity Center of Northeast Ohio, and that was a pretty nice partnership for us to do. They could have gone to Cleveland Public, but they chose to come to us, so that's really nice. And then finally, University Heights Youth Services staff, we're doing some weekly outdoor programs at the Walter Stinson Park in University Heights. Knew that they were going to have to shut that down now that we're inching closer to winter. And then finally, the Youth Services Department at Lee Road packs, and I can also attest to that, helping out and give out a lot of service that we're offering to the public. So we're trying to reach people, have activities for kids, certainly have the materials, since we know we're still just doing such little programming. Our did 9 Zoom story times during the month of October with an attendance of 192. And so what we're doing is we're counting the views, and we're trying to count those statistics as accurately as the state has instructed us to do. We're counting things by views. And we recognize somebody might view something later, but we don't count it a second time. We're just counting in the moment. If there are no questions, I can move on to statistics. Okay, I'll go on. The circulation breakdown of physical versus some of our streaming and our downloadables. During the month of October, physical circulation increased by over
You're kind of
3%,
freezing
and now
breaking up.
it was over 80% of our October circulation in full. I think a part of that is attributed. Okay, thank you. I'm not sure what I can increase in physical materials as a percentage during the month of October. I think that's attributed to the fact we opened up. Everybody hear that okay? Okay, all right.
We can hear you,
certainly
but your
see the
picture's
jump,
frozen.
particularly
Your video is
Okay, well, I'll just
freezing.
keep on.
Yeah, I think we might need to go on.
But you can hear me okay? Okay, I'm going to continue on. The circulation statistics were much higher during the month of October because we, of course, opened up for browsing. Everybody saw a jump. Well, Coventry had a small decline by purely at Lee Road, where we increased by over 12,000. We also really saw an increase in visitor numbers moving on. And if you look, Noble more than doubled their visitor numbers during the month of October. So more and more people are coming into our libraries as we continue to offer computer service, but we are also opening up more for browsing. And that's brought in more.
Okay.
We did have some
Totally.
meeting rooms for the month of October that was basically just Board of Elections that
We're
they
not going to be able
continued.
to compare it to last year, but at least we're seeing
Kim,
increases
You are frozen
month by
and we can't hear
month.
you. You're breaking up. So we're gonna
And then meeting room use.
move on, okay? Can you hold off, Kim?
Maybe Debbie, I'll.
I think somebody just needs to mute her because I think she's gonna like. It's
Yeah.
just there's a lag time on it, so.
Yeah,
Debbie,
I
can you
hit
do
the
it?
mute. I think we're there. Okay, sorry, Kim.
Nothing personal.
Meeting room use was basically the Board of Elections doing trainings through the 15th of the month. They had 16 different sessions with 320 people here, and I don't think we'll be seeing anyone using the meeting rooms other than for internal staff purposes till the foreseeable future. Does anyone have anything for unfinished business? Okay, in new business, as Nancy talked earlier in the meeting, the carpeting is here and they're working on doing it in the H-Kick and they'll be moving over here. And it wasn't until just last week that we realized we hadn't gotten a quote for the staff room in the basement, since we've only had people working part-time and nobody's going down there to eat. It's kind of deserted. I think we just forgot about the fact that that needs carpeting. So we asked for an additional quote, and the carpeting and all the moldings and fixing the prep of the floor and all that is $8,545. And we have money available in the building repair fund. And in fact, we'll just add that amount to the purchase order we already have to Messina for the carpeting at the H-Kick and in the Lee Road branch. Does anyone have any questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further questions? Ms. Carlisle?
Yes.
Ms. Crenshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mr. Gerbach?
Yes.
Ms. Iwamoto?
Yes.
Mr. Rusa?
Yes.
Mr. Toracchio?
Yes.
Okay, we would like to have the board enter executive session at 7:17 to discuss pending litigation and the purchase of property. We will end the live feed of the meeting after this roll call, and when the board comes back into public session, it'll be basically to adjourn, so there will be no further action by the board. Do I have a
So-
motion to go into executive session?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Llewellyn? Ms.
Yes.
Carlisle?
Yes.
Ms. Crenshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mr. Gerbach?
Yes.
Ms. Iwamoto?
Yes.
Mr. Rusa?
Yes.
Mr. Toracchio?
Yes.
Okay, let me stop recording.